G20 presidency, I would add India made an exclamation mark under behind its own relevance. India guided the world. It's always a privilege to be in this country, such an enormously important partner for my country, for Germany, but also on the multilateral level. And with the outgoing G20 presidency, I would add India made an exclamation mark under behind its own relevance. It was guiding this world in a situation where you want to be everything, but not the G20 presidency in this disastrous situation with multiple crises. But India guided the world. It secured the G20. It's anyway a group that has a certain fragility in itself because it's not based on common values. It's based of interests, basically to organize economic growth and financial stability in the world. But of course it is connected to the whole political agenda, because once you want to organize economic growth and more welfare for the people in your respective countries, you need to look at the obstacles, and obviously obstacles we are discussing about are usually of political character, be it the Russian war against Ukraine, be it now the war in Israel and Gaza after the horrible attacks of Hamas against Israel, be it the outgoing COVID crisis with all what it does on energy security, food security, and of course also those crises that will not disappear, even if we are currently focused on political crises like climate change, like the loss of biodiversity. So in all my talks, I appreciated wholeheartedly the role India played, and it will give this country an additional relevance. Once you have shown such a leadership, other countries in the world will not ignore the voice of India. This is a chance for this country, but also an additional responsibility, I need to say. So moving to our bilateral cooperation, as we said yesterday, we celebrated 75 years KfW in this country. I would not say that this was the most important reason why I came, but it was definitely a wonderful event here in this wonderful embassy, and it also reflected that our countries are linked to each other for a long, long time. 65 years of official development cooperation. And this means that we know each other for a long time, that we respect and value each other. And as has been said, I've been in my former positions as State Secretary for Environment, as head of the Federal Environment Agency, so in different jobs, governmental jobs I had to this country. And one key pillar was always the broader environmental agenda. Of course, our joint endeavors on the climate issue. India very committed, very clear, but also addressing the issue that this is something that has to be solved on the multilateral as well as on the bilateral level. And just coming from a round table at ORF together with Amitabh Kant, it's also a matter that we must not divide between the clear target of meeting our climate goals, but at the same time our overall SDG targets, including organizing welfare for all people on the earth, allowing people in each and every country a decent life. So this must not be counteracted it has to be a holistic approach. In our bilateral cooperation, we have since last year a wonderful platform, the Green and Sustainable Development Platform Partnership, GSDP, that was signed last year in Berlin at the joint cabinet meeting by Prime Minister Modi and Chancellor Scholz. As far as to my memories, the only declaration at a joint cabinet meeting ever that was signed not by line ministers but by the leaders themselves. It has a broad but at the same time focused agenda, broad in the sense that it is not addressing climate only. It's also looking, for example, at agroecology, including soil biodiversity and all these issues. Of course, the energy transition, and a very important piece that is a triangular cooperation, relevant for India, relevant for Germany, as we want to organize the energy transition in a way that it doesn't establish new mono dependencies, for example, for the PV industry, photovoltaic industry. India and Germany are sharing the same interest that we don't want to be solely dependent on the supply chain from China. We are not working against China, but we have the desire to have more partners, and that we share with India. So one focus, not exclusively in the energy area, is to have trilateral partnerships with, for example, countries that do have the resources and the raw materials in that regard. But we also share the view that, of course, it has to be also beneficial for those partner countries. If it is only benefiting India and Germany, this will not be a sustainable endeavor. As you mentioned, my visit outside Delhi on Sunday, I visited an agroecology project, a woman-driven business in agriculture with many dimensions, and I was very impressed what we are doing there through GIZ in the region. And I also visited a Tata mine, looking at the current situation of processing, but also of recultivation of the mines. And followed up on that, I agreed with the secretary, with the minister for coal, that we will establish a program on recultivation and reuse, repurposing of coal mines. We agreed to start immediately with our teams working on this. We do have at this moment governmental negotiations. They are not finished yet, but they were not expected to be finished yet. It's simply they are sitting together. I kicked off the negotiation with the secretary at the Ministry of Finance. I announced that we are ready to provide substantial support financial means for our partnership, alone for the Green and Sustainable Development Partnership, more than 1 billion that are offered. They're currently working on the details, but I'm sure this will come to a very successful end. I stop here.